Hello, I am Clea, and this is Clea's World. Today, I will share with you more information I've received from the 25th dimension during my last BQH session with Lorraine, who is a friend and also was my hypnotist. She will be reading questions that are prepared in advance, and I, under hypnosis, I will refer to me, and when I refer to me, I am referring to the answers that I received from the 25th dimension that was coming through. Before we move forward, I would like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and please do give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment below if you feel like it, because the fact is we have a great community here and that kind of gathers around these videos in the comment section, and I know it's been quite helpful to me just to know that I'm not alone going through the stuff that's happening out there right now. And I know it's been beneficial for a lot of people. And also, I do want to mention that one of our community members has started a discussion group for the, all things 25th dimension. So if you're interested in that, check out the pinned comment below, because I do give you the link there so you can join it. Again, this is not my group, but I do hang out in there. I think it's awesome. There's some awesome people there, and I think it's fun. And I do believe that it's nice to compare our notes these days and to know that we're not alone. All right, I'm going to start reading here from the transcript. Okay, Lorraine. So we, as those going to New Earth, will we have a period of time of transition where we're basically doing a, for lack of a better term, life review or Earth experience review, clearing through all of our judgments and experience? Me. So, and they were laughing. Life review. There's going to be much more than that. We're going to do, there's not going to be a veil. So we're going to be aware of our entire existence, and we're going to be aware of everybody else's entire existence. So when you say life review, it's a good way of putting it, but it's not just going to be our life or one lifetime. So imagine the magnitude of the work we'll have to do. When you say for a period of time, depending on what you're working on understanding which idea or which manifestation something took, it might take you a week, it might take you a month, it might take you a year, it might take you 10 years, 50 years, you don't know. It depends on what you're dealing with. It depends on your previous life experience that has prepared you to do this work. It will depend on how much resistance you're putting up. And this is what we meant to say to finish up responding to the previous question. And it was, you can check out my previous video, but basically it was, again, in reference to what we're talking about, which is this absence of veil and how we'll be dealing with it. So this is what we meant to say to finish up responding to the previous question, is that the issue will be the proximity to the problem. And what we mean is that we will offer resistance because we will have guilt. We will believe we did this. And what we did, remember, everyone is participating. We are one. So the people who are coming to New Earth, they will feel a distance. They will feel like they didn't participate. They didn't actively participate in creating certain things here. And therefore, they will not have the same resistance. It's a little bit like what we have explained about 3D chambers. They will go to the 3D chambers, the sleepers, the people that were here, the group going to the 3D chambers. And again, we mean no judgment when we say sleepers. It's just so we understand each other, who we're talking about. These people have moved to the 3D chambers. Now, when they get there, when they've gotten there, they find this new world. They might consider, wow, this is wonderful. I'm so glad that we're not in the Middle Ages anymore. And the Middle Ages they're referring to might be now for us, might be right now. They've lost time. And therefore, they believe that what is happening right now, what we see as happening right now, with the lockdowns, the government's cracking down on people just for being, just for being alive, they will think this happened, say, 50, 60 years ago. Because of that distance, they'll be able to not feel the guilt of saying, oh, I was the government. Oh, I was the pharmaceutical rep who was bribing politicians to enforce these things, mandates. Oh, I was the one who took the thing. They'll be looking back and saying, oh my goodness, who are those people taking the things? Were they crazy? Were they that ignorant that they couldn't even understand how dangerous these things were? And that's what we mean, is the distance that allows you to look at something and integrate it to where you already bypassed it. And you realize, okay, it was a mistake. That's what they believed at the time. Great. This is what the people coming to New Earth, that's the position they'll be in, where they're like, okay, this has already been absorbed. And they're referring, so the previous question in the previous video was referring to how will people who come to New Earth in the future, how will they feel about the things we've done? So will they also have to do the integration work? We will do when we get there. So I'm gonna pick up and repeat this one section because I think it's important. And that's what we mean, is the distance that allows you to look at something and integrate it to where you already bypassed it and you realize, okay, it was a mistake. That's what they believed at the time. Great. This is what the people coming to New Earth, that's the position they'll be in, where they're like, okay, this has already been absorbed. For us, because it's us, we will feel, imagine, Lorraine, you spent your whole life saying, I'm a good person, which you are. You're always a good person. That's what we have trouble understanding, that it doesn't matter what you do. It's always you. And so all of a sudden, you realize that in a previous life, for example, you were doing something that you would find extremely objectionable in your present life. Does that mean you were a bad person before? This is the work you will have to do. And even the things that we're allowing on this planet right now, we are allowing them. Does it mean that we're not good people? You know, this word good really means nothing. We are everything. And until we realize and integrate the fact that all the dark that's been done, all the good that's been done, is all coming from the same place, and we are one. If one does something, we all do it. It means we've all done. It means we're all capable of doing that, until we truly, truly integrate that, as in we take it in and realize, this is me, I did this. We will not be able to move forward. But many of us are going to be working on the clearing. Not everybody will have to do the same degree of work. Everybody has different potentialities and different attitudes, and it's perfectly okay. But many of us have prepared ourselves to be able to even look at and deal with this and integrate it. So we will be okay. It might not take, depending on how willing we are, it might not take a long time for us to clear these obstacles, these perceptual obstacles. I have to tell you, these are very hard concepts because we have been taught, we've taught ourselves, there's no they, okay? There's nobody else who's done this to us. We've all participated in how we set up this system. We have been taught it's us against them, which of course, if you're playing a game, that's what you're gonna have. You have two teams, so it's the other team, right? Which is fine. But we have been taught this in every single facet of our life here. I was thinking about this because my daughter, my mother let her do this. I actually wasn't gonna let her do this. I think it's too early for her. She's only 6, but my mother let her watch the first 2 movies of Harry Potter. And it finally dawned on me, and I'm thinking about this for a while, but I finally had a light bulb go off where I was like, all these movies, the entire movie industry has been dominated, in fact, created by the dark. Not to say everybody's dark in the movie industry, but in general, for example, Hollywood has been a dark pit, okay? So I'm like, why would they always show these movies, every movie, and the good guy at the end wins the day? There's all kinds of darkness going on that they're showing us so they can install it in our subconscious. So we think it's real. We think this is how life is here. But then somehow the good guy always wins. And I'm like, that's awfully nice of them to say they were going to win. And then it clicked for me that the reason this is happening is because the way that we keep this reality going, what we perceive to be dark, is by focusing on it. So the moment that we believe that, oh, we're not doing that, we're the ones judging it, we're the ones saying that they're bad, we're still playing the game. You might be on the other side of the net, but you might be on the other side of the field. You might be playing against them, but you're still playing. And this is specifically come home because of the experience that I had. And you can refer back to, I did a set of 3 videos that on my new plant medicine experience. And you will remember, you might remember if you've seen it. If you haven't, I would highly recommend that set of videos because it was mind-blowing for me. And I think you might find some value in them as well because of this. It was just crazy, crazy stuff that came through. Basically, in the third video, if you recall, if you've seen them, I speak about the fact that there was a person who had extreme road rage that wasn't even really proportional or related to what I had done. Basically, she just assumed I had cut her off, and all of a sudden she went berserk, doing things I've never seen anybody do, including in situations where the other person might effectively have done something wrong, and or maybe even on purpose to cut off somebody. And the way that entire situation was diffused is for the simple reason that I was in a different space and I did not engage with it. I wasn't judging this person. I was not upset. I was not taking on her energy to where I was supposed to now be upset because she was doing all these crazy things to me, thinking it was to me, or that she was in danger, whatever it is that we think when we play these games. And because I did not engage with her, all of a sudden the situation completely collapsed. It was not a reality anymore. And this is what I mean by this is what we've done. When we engage in this, it's them or I am better, this is what we're doing. We're keeping the game going. And I think many of us are starting or have started seeing through this particular game to where there is the separation. Is very hard from a 3D perspective, especially considering some of the things that have happened. But again, as the 25th says, none of us is innocent in the sense of we have not participated, okay? Now, they're not trying to say that we're not innocent as in we're bad people or any of that. The 25th never judges. They're trying to use human terms, is what we consider being innocent. And one example they always bring that I'm aware of, I was already aware of, is that, for example, I bank with regular banks. The moment that we do this, and many of us do this, we are financing the system. We are very simply saying, it's okay, go ahead and keep doing all the evil things you've been doing. So it's a lot. I know there are people, there are many of us who don't want to know this, who don't want to see this, but I do believe that many of us in this particular space have been attracted to this message, have been attracted to this energy, have really answered the call of the 25th because we are ready to hear it. And I believe this is because this is going to make it much easier for us to deal with it when the veil comes down. I have changed my mind, like literally, about lots of things that I thought were going to be extremely difficult. And I know after already having worked on this for several weeks, this particular issue that I have with judgments of the dark, which again doesn't mean the things that have been done on this planet are okay by me, okay? But I know that I'll be able to understand them much faster because of what we've done. In fact, the 25th does talk about this, does refer to this, because it was an issue for me. And you'll notice from the questions, I've been going through this a lot because, again, I feel like it's almost, I mean, why us? Why do we have to do this work? And what about our children? Why should children be able to do this? But so they have very patiently explained to me what we can expect and what we'll be able to do, which is awesome. Really, we've set up this this entire matrix really in a brilliant manner. All right, so I am going to read the next question. Lorraine, thank you. I have done a lot of this, what I call recapitulation work, looking through that. And I know that I have participated in what would be called evil deeds in my essence's experience, in other quote unquote lifetimes, or experiences, or multidimensional realities. I'm aware of this, and I too have come to the understanding or understanding that it is all of us. Our purpose is to experience all aspects of what we are capable of. Is this the people going to New Earth? Is this one of their primary chosen experiences? And the reason they chose to go to New Earth is to be these transmuters of these frequencies? Me. The purpose of going to New Earth, the reason New Earth exists, is because we are introducing in the matrix a new game. This new game will be, let's call it, being the 25th in the matrix. That means that our consciousness and our powers will be close, similar, extremely similar to what we have in the 25th. However, the difference is we want to be in the matrix, okay? We want to be in the game. So it's like saying that I don't want to hang out in the kitchen because the kitchen is boring. I'm moving to the living room, okay? I'm not becoming a different person as I move to the living room. I'm not having an amnesia attack and all of a sudden I don't remember who I was, who I am. I get to the living room and I start over. I simply moved rooms, okay? And this is what's going to happen on New Earth. So when we say that we go to New Earth to transmute energy, really, all we're doing is we're adopting, we are becoming our higher selves on New Earth, which means that's what we mean when there is no veil, because we're always our higher selves. We just forget we're a certain dimension because we want to forget. And on New Earth, we become our higher selves. We're connected with our higher selves at all times. That means that we see everything from the perspective of the higher self. And as you well know, having done all the work you've done, Lorraine, your higher self does not judge. You judge. Your higher self never judges, just like all the messages you've been getting from us. We are not judging anything. We are not judging for a simple reason that there is nothing. We cannot do anything wrong. We are just playing. We are just being and having fun. Now, does it mean that we want to continue certain games that become not fun anymore? That can become quite painful, actually. No, we don't. And that's why we monitor these situations. We set up systems to resolve these situations and move on to something that's a lot more fun. And we can assure you, New Earth is going to be a lot of fun. But that's all that's happening. So do you want to call it reintegrating? You want to call it equalizing the energies? Absolutely. We're going to be doing that for the simple reason that we're bringing into the matrix a game where we know, we remember we're all one. And therefore, we don't have to judge. We can just look at things and accept them for what they are. It's just another experience. If you mean that, we would say yes, absolutely. That's what we're going to be doing. Lorraine. Claire would like to know if the current children, the children of the people going to New Earth, also have to deal with integration or the knowing of everything. And I assume the answer is yes, because they're like us. They're just in little form. And she would like this question answered. Me, yes, the answer is yes. We will not be able to shield them from anything. We are one. They will feel, they will know our thoughts. There is no veil. However, when Clea wrote that question, she was concerned that children, for example, children like her daughter, while she is here, of course, maintaining the matrix like the rest of us, she also, it almost seems unfair to Clea that her daughter would have to see all these SATANIC rituals. Again, it seems unfair to Clea that her daughter would have to see all these SATANIC I see rituals. For example, the way we're going to be able to see them, that's the problem. We're going to be able to see them, not just know about them. And she's going to see all these animals being tortured. You're going to feel what the tortured animal was feeling. And Clea wanted, of course, to shield her daughter and all the children like her, because it doesn't feel fair to her, that it's almost like our generation has allowed this. Why should they carry this? But what Clea has just understood, and what we are trying to explain here today, is that the degree of resistance that you feel, or that some will feel, is tied to the degree of judgment. And therefore, children, they don't have the same degree of judgment that we have learned to have here. And for that reason, they won't have to deal. It will not be as difficult for them to integrate. They will not have to do the same degree of work we have to do. So in that sense, they will be shielded from a lot of it. Not because they won't be aware of it, not because they won't benefit from the work we're all doing. Again, will be one. But because simply they don't have the same level of resistance and judgment against certain things. And therefore, while it might feel painful to them to see certain things, they won't resist it. And by not resisting it, it will be much easier work for them. I do want to tell you one story that happened I think it was yesterday. My parents like to watch detective movies and like CSI kind of thing, just detective movies. They always watch some kind of thriller or something like that. So there are a lot of scenes in there that are not very good for children to expose children to. So I'm always careful when I go with my daughter into their, where they have their television set, to tell them to either turn off the television or to change a channel. She must have gone in there without me. And so she later told me that she had seen a scene. She goes, "Mommy, I saw this scene. There were cuts. This person was cut everywhere, and there was blood." And then she said to me, she goes, "Oh my goodness, that must have hurt." And she goes, "It would have hurt even more if you didn't have hair." Like, for example, Zio Antonio, and that's my brother. My brother is Antonio. She goes, "Zio Antonio, because he doesn't have hair, my goodness, it would really hurt somebody did that on his head." So here's why I'm telling you this. Because one, for a second, I was like so upset that she has seen this scene. But then I realized that was a lesson for me. I realized she did not take it the way I would have taken it. I would have taken it as in, oh my God, why are people doing this? One, why are these television stations showing us this? So I already would be upset about that. But also in real life, that happened. If I'd heard a story of somebody being killed brutally, or I would be like, oh my God, why do these people have to have these low level choices? They have to do these awful things. You know how it goes. I'm sure you feel exactly the same way about the stuff that we hear about. But then I watched her, and while she wasn't saying, "Oh wow, that was a great thing," she was like, "Wow, that must have hurt." And she wasn't thinking, "Oh, those people are bad." She was thinking, "Wow, that's not nice." And this is, I believe, I know it came because I needed to see that. It made me feel a lot better about, first of all, the fact that the children, they will not suffer as much as we will suffer if we put up the resistance that we already put up here. We're always thinking about these things. I know I'm always thinking about these things and saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening." And I'm angry about it and all of that. And I know many of you are as well. But what she's shown me is that it is the distance. It's just, observing, deciding, realizing that this is not cool at all. It's not great. It's not something we want to do again. But at the same time, it's what it is. And move on. She was happy after that. She went on to the next thing. She didn't judge. So she was just trying to figure out, how would that work? I'm sure it would work more if you had no hair. I mean, it was even funny in a certain way. If I didn't even know you could have fun out of things like these. But this is what it means, that she has no judgment and no resistance. So I hope this kind of helps the story, because I know it definitely helped me. It made me feel better, because I had been feeling like it was unfair for example, to have these children exposed to these things. But now I know that our children are ascended masters too, right? So now I know they can, not only they can handle it, that's why they're going to New Earth with us, but they might in many ways be much more equipped than we are to handle these things, because we have put up so much judgment and so much distance. And the 25th has talked about this many times. The problem has been us wanting to isolate ourselves from the dark team as if they are a different species, like some kind of lowly, disgusting, you know. And we will have plenty of time to do all this work. But again, I know we are going to be just fine. And we're going to do great, because a lot of us have already started doing this work, just like Lorraine was speaking about with the work she's been doing. None of us have had all existences or lifetimes where we have been what we think, what we wish to think that we have been. I'm sure all of us have experienced all kinds of things, have done all kinds of things. And I think just knowing that, just seeing that, will allow us to understand much more quickly that these are things that are done, that were done here. And that's why we're taking this down, because it wasn't cool. But all of us have done things that we would not be happy to know right now that we have done. All right, so I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching this one, and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.